If you really want to scale to 3 million a month, you're gonna have to make this stupid simple. It's the same funnels, the same ads. Everything can just be the same. Here, it doesn't matter if they're good because it's so easy. You just have to see the result. If they spend 16,000, how fast can they make that back? You need to get them as much cash collected up front, because the more cash they collect up front, guess what happens with you? When you make 60 grand a month, what do? Hey, who wants to be my coach? Hey, it's 5,000 a month. Offload it, let them do it. Yeah. Done, it's easy.
Man, that's great.
What you're doing is you're like, all right, cool, done for you. Customized copy, customized font. Like, that, no, that's not gonna scale.
I currently work as a director of a marketing agency, performance marketing agency, and manage a team of about 6 media buyers and oversee a good $3-4 million a month for other clients. Stepped into my own kind of deal, right? Approached aesthetic practice and med spa and basically said, let me see what I can do, how much growth I can bring you. And in exchange, I took 50% equity in the growth. And so that's kind of the venture that I started over the past 6 months to a year and saw lots of success, worked out all the kinks and bottlenecks, if you will. The goal was, can we acquire a patient profitably on the first visit, and can we retain them and ascend them for a bigger LTV? For the most part. And we accomplished that and took that model into something that I wanted to scale, right? And so equity for one med spa, I realized wasn't sustainable for a solo practice that is trying to get to full capacity. In order for me to take equity, it was more so of needing them to already have staff in place and then grow beyond themselves. And so that's kind of what brought me to putting together a workshop and licensing out our model to other med spas. That way we can work hand in hand with them as they grow and scale. We can kind of step behind their back and make sure they're going along the process in an efficient way and in a profitable way. I did a soft launch with that over the past 2 weeks or so to get a pulse of kind of where I was, and pushed about 4,500 in ad spend behind filling seats to net new practices, and pulled out about 68,000 in committed contracts from that. And so growth and acquiring customers, acquiring patients, that's something I feel like I have under wraps. Now I'm kind of staring into the abyss of a program and a business model and structure that can sustain more than just myself. I've been obsessed with business for about the past 8 years. And so I came across the ClickFunnels community, Ty Lopez, just any coach, entrepreneur that I could learn from and soak up as much as I can. Tanner was one of those that came across my radar. And he's got solid perspective. He's built something sustainable, built something bigger than himself, which is hard to come across. And so I've been following him for a while, seeing a lot of what he's done, what he's accomplished. Success rate of his students is a big one. And so that's really what kind of roped me into this world. I'm really hoping to find a scalable model beyond just myself. There's nuances to the people I work with, the practices I work with, the services they provide. And for me to coach them in the best way possible, I want to build a world-class product is really what it comes down to. And seeing somebody that has thousands of students that have gone through it, I feel like is really what can give me that direction.
Victor, what's up, man?
What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going, dude.
Going good.
Appreciate you coming.
Appreciate you having me.
A little bit of a trek, yeah?
No, not at all,
then,
brother. Texas is
You had to switch it up, though, right?
kind of, yeah.
Sorry about
Extended
that.
it out. No, not at all, man.
Anyways, yeah, dude, I want this to be a good experience for you. So the goal for me is just that you leave and you have a great experience. I'll try to lead the conversation based on my knowledge of what I think we need to talk about. But, ultimately, I really don't care. It's for you. So I just want to make sure whatever it is you want to get out of it, make sure you get that. And I'll be happy. So do you want to start off by giving me like a little context and numbers, and then we can kind of delve in?
Yeah, so it's funny because when I talked to like a month ago,
Yeah.
it was because I was prepping for a launch of what I'm doing now,
Okay.
right? Which is kind of like model.
Okay.
License out our process, our model.
For gym? For
No,
gyms?
for aesthetic practices.
Okay.
So primarily med spas. We
So
have
kind of
some
like more facials and that type of stuff?
facials,
Okay.
Botox. We have some body contours
Okay.
as well.
All right, cool.
And so at first I thought the acquisition side would be something that I might stumble on, but we did a launch, right?
Okay.
So we had a workshop to net new kind of businesses. I don't have a following or anything major
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
And so I pushed about 4,500 in ads behind it. We got 17 people to sign up. We had a 100% show up rate.
Okay.
Which
That's great.
Which was great, yeah.
Yeah.
Our ticket sales was $1 for general access.
Okay.
And then $297 for VIP.
Okay.
$297.
So $1 for general access. Yeah, walk me through that. So I want to understand a little bit about what exactly you're selling. So when you're running the ad, Is it just to come in the office?
No, so the ad is to sign up for a workshop where we're going to show them our process for how we acquire new patients profitably.
Oh, so you're showing other spa owners essentially how.
Yeah.
Okay, so got it. Okay, yeah. So I get what you're saying. So it's except for spas, and so when you're running the ads, you're doing an in-person workshop.
Virtual.
Oh, it's virtual.
Yeah.
Okay, and so when you're running the ads, they're either spending $1 or $297, and out of the $4,000, you had 17 people sign up. You had 100% show rate.
Yeah, we had about 51% of people sign up for. I'm sorry, 61% take the VIP. And then
That's really good. Okay, and then what's the difference between this and the GA?
General access, you get to attend the live, you get to watch us. So basically the workshop's 3 days. First day is the model and the principles. Second day we're building ads that actually is to drive patients through the door.
Okay.
And then third day is talking about the back end of their business. So general access, they get to go through the entire 3 days, look over our shoulder. They can build with us if they can keep up. VIP gives Q&A before and after the workshop.
Okay.
It also gives access to landing page, ads, ad copy, pretty much everything.
So like kind of like templates and so forth.
Yeah,
right?
it gives them all the templates.
So they don't have to do as much work. Okay, and then is that clear up front? Is that on the sales page, or what do you guys use? Just sales page?
So we lead to a landing page for the opt-in, and then the second page from there is for them to book a call to basically reserve their seat. On that call booking form, they select if they want general access or VIP.
Okay, but you said that they have an option to book a call, so where does that fall in play?
That's after they opt in. So there's 2 pages, right? The landing page is
Landing page, opt in, get the stuff. So on the second page.
On the second page, there's a calendar, right? And they get to select a day and time for us to basically qualify them, make sure that the workshop's a good fit, and then process their.
So you guys take the payment over the phone?
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Okay, so book, call. Okay. And then what do you do at the end? You're trying to upsell people?
Yeah, so at the end, I put together 2 different options. So there's the aggressive growth process where I work one-on-one. I put together their front end, their prices, their structure, their membership, everything that they need for their business structure and to acquire those patients. That one's $25,000 for 3 months.
Okay. All right.
And then the second option is if they're part-time and trying to transition into their practice full-time, then it's $297 a week, which is just $1,200 a month.
$1,200 a month. Okay, for how long?
And that's also 3 months, and it's group coaching.
Group. Okay, so and then on this one, like you said, it's 1-to-1. What does that mean? They just have like unlimited access to coach or you?
Basically, we do everything for them. I do everything for them. So
it's done for you.
Yeah, done for you.
Like you run their ads, like you're running the business for them.
I run their ads. I structure their front end prices. I basically have full control over switching, swapping, structuring everything.
And then this is brand new?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you have team members?
It's just myself.
Just you, okay.
Yeah.
Walk me through. So you did this little workshop, and did you get upsells? Did you not get upsells? What happened?
Yeah, so we had 2 for the 25, and then we had 5 for the group coaching, the $1,200 a month.
Yeah, 2 for the 25. And so, well, I just wanted to make sure I understand. So I get on, everyone opts in, right? They get to the calendar and book a call, and then basically you either take $1 or you take $297, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so then we go through this, do the 3 days. At the end of the 3rd day, I'm assuming you're like, hey, if you want more help, book another call. They book another call, and you basically had from this, we'll say you had 2 people sign up here, and then you had how many here?
5.
5, okay. Do you have questions to start? Because I have thoughts, but I want to see where your head's at.
Man, my biggest question is I don't know how to scale it beyond myself. I think I need a team as I go for the next workshop, right?
Of course,
I want to put like $25K behind the next workshop, get 100 people signed up.
Okay.
Expecting 50.
Yeah, so my initial thoughts, like, do you know how the model worked? How well do you know it? Do you know kind of some of the concepts or not really?
It depends how detailed.
Okay, yeah.
I understand like what the outline is.
Yeah, so let me walk you through it. Okay, so what started doing is he was flying out to gyms, right? So he's like, hey, hire me, don't pay me anything. I'll come out to your gym. I'll do the whole thing for you. And then you just give me a piece of the pie, right? And he did really well. The problem was that they couldn't fulfill, right? And so what ended up actually happening, I don't know how much you know of his story, but the gyms actually started telling people to cancel and charge back and then give him cheaper rates. And so he would go and sell like 60 G's and then they just all start charging back. And then he'd have to like keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. So that's done for you. I'm not a huge fan of done for you because it's extremely hard to scale. So when you're talking about this, let's say your goal is I want to do 100,000 a month. I mean, that's super easy because relatively you'd probably only need like 1 or 2 people and then you get 4 clients a month and it's not that big of a deal, right? If your goal, I guess, what is your goal?
I mean, I'm not capped with like a number per month. Like I just want to be able to scale it consistently and.
Do you want to get as big as possible, or are you
as big as
I want to
possible.
stop around here and like?
No,
this
I mean,
is...
if I can get to 3, 4, 5 million a month, like.
Okay, yeah. So you're trying to get massive numbers. So the big issue with, I mean, I'll walk you through it. So the best business models get everyone the same result, and it also takes no work. Consulting in general doesn't usually fit that box, which is why they don't usually scale past 30 million a year. You'll see most consulting firms, like in our space, I think you have like the people mention that they work with like Fortune 500 companies. You have some other ones, but most consulting companies, when you think of like, right, or me or whoever, usually this is kind of where they're going to sit, because there comes a point where the amount of ads you're spending and then the clientele, it just doesn't match up anymore because you can't get everyone the same result. Meaning Jill's a 1, so we'll put Jill here, right? She's a 1. Then you got Tom's a 5, and then you got Jack, and Jack's a 10. And so Jack gets better results with the same stuff because Jack's a beast. Tom gets okay results, Jill gets no results. And so what they do is Jill's like, oh, you suck, Victor. Tom's like, Victor's okay. And then Jack's like, Victor's the beast.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Right, well, that's what will happen based on what you said. The reason that will happen is like this here, I don't like it because you're changing everything. That's also super hard to scale because if you're trying to customize every single thing, it's difficult. Even in my consulting businesses, if someone comes in, we're still showing them the same process, right? Like people try to overcomplicate business. It's really not that complex. I had a client who DM'd me today and he said he wanted to scale to X amount. And I said, well, what's your return on ads? He's like, well, here's my return. I said, so why don't you just spend more? It's not, you're not like, for example, here, if you want to make more, what do you think you should do? Probably just spend more, right? I mean, it's not that complex. The issue I think you're going to run into is fulfillment. So there's a couple thoughts I had, and I want to walk you through the model. So what did is he pivoted and he did done with you. Now the reason done with you is so great is because you don't have to do any of the work. You're just telling them what to do, which makes it way more scalable than done for you. The issue with done with you, typically in the online space, it takes a lot of skill. Now, what's great about the online space is it's better upside in my opinion. Meaning, if I'm a med spa owner, I have to have a physical location. I'm capped on the amount of money I can make unless I have more locations. I have to be there certain hours of the day. If I take a break, I don't make money. That's the downside, right? Online, what's great is I can work from home. I can travel. Like I made money yesterday and I wasn't working, right? I got a team. I'm at this event. I messaged you. Hey, we move stuff. There's a lot of flexibility. But the downside is you have to be good at sales. You have to be good at messaging. You have to be good at ads. You have to be good at fulfillment. There's way more skill, which goes back to over here, which is why people struggle. And it took me a long time to understand that. I didn't understand why people would struggle, but they struggle because they're just not that good. And no matter what you do, like, you know, if I was teaching you how to swim, no matter how much I teach you, you might just not be that good at swimming. Or you might just not work that hard or whatever it is. And I can't sit there and force you to do it, which is what some people want, which is kind of what you're doing here. Okay, so I like it to get stuff off the ground because now you have cash. So what's brilliant about is it's 1 in a million. What they did is no one's gonna be able to replicate it, and there's a few reasons why. So what made it so successful? Well, first, like, by the way, have you ever owned a spa? Like, have you ever, like...
I have equity in one, yeah.
Okay, so you kind of understand how it works. Okay, so number one is, like, let's just say you're an owner, or you've owned, so you understand it. Own gyms, he understands it all the way through. So the difference between me and, like, let's say, because I was a personal trainer at one point, but I never owned a gym. It's different when you're the owner and you're just working it. So people would see what would do, but they couldn't replicate it because they never really owned. So that's an advantage you have. The second thing is that in person usually has 90% close rates. You know what online is? 30. It's like 30. Right? So again, that gives you a massive advantage because when you have these clients, they should be able to close more. That's another reason it worked. And a lot of people overlook this. Another reason it worked really well is he had a really good front end offer. So most gym owners, especially box gyms or local gyms, they sell it at the same rate. So the issue is, I mean, Planet Fitness, $10. So what they'll do is they'll try to sell something for $60. Well, if you spent $4,000 on ads and you're only getting $60 a pop, it's really hard to make an ROI and stay profitable because you might even break even or lose money. And so every month you're just trying to catch up. You're just trying to catch up. So it never worked. So what did it is he made a way, he goes, how can I get them to make 600 up front? Okay, we'll talk about that. No one had done that before. And that's where he had the 6-week challenge, right? And that was key. The next thing is most of them have never ran ads. So I'm assuming most of these people, they don't know how ads work, right? They're very just vanilla. Hey, like I'm on Google and I'm on Yelp, come over. Like it's super vanilla and I've seen that a million times. So ads are super simple because when you're driving people to come to in person, it's more tangible. They can see it, they can feel it. It's the same reason I could sell more at an event than I can on a phone call because people can see me. They either decide, hey, Tanner's a great guy, Tanner's an idiot, whatever. But usually it's easier, right? Those are the main things. And well, I guess the last thing is they were already like current business owners. I guess that's the other thing. So something that, I deal with in my company, Elite COs, is I'll get people who've never started a business and then they get upset about, oh, this was a lot harder than I thought. You're like, yeah, starting a business is pretty hard.
Yeah. So that's your experience with like the difference between a Jill and a Jack, right? Is you do get people that come in without.
But you should get less of that here because everyone you're working with owns a spa, correct?
Yeah.
So they already have a little bit of grit.
Yeah.
They've got a little bit of fortitude. They've been through some hard stuff. It's a little different than someone who's like, I want to make an extra $5,000 a month that has no business experience. So what I'm getting at is you have all this in place, which is beautiful, right? The other thing is there's not a lot of competition. Okay, there's not a lot. There were people who tried to copy, but they just couldn't do it as well. And my personal opinion of that is obviously one was work ethic, but two is just they hadn't gone through what had gone through. Had 5 gyms, he'd ran them for years. It's just different. Yeah. There's intricacies in every industry. So if I switched to real estate right now and I did wholesaling, I get the concept, but there's just the contracts. What do you say in the contract? The listings, how do you find the buyers? What do you say on the buyer call? Yeah, I'd get there faster than a beginner, but there's a lot of intricacies, right? So here's what you have and what's great. Now, what they did is they did the same thing for every person. They didn't customize stuff. They did the same thing. So the thing that they did that was so great is I get a gym owner. Okay, now first what they did is they do ad, they did opt-in page, they usually did a case study, and I think a case study would be perfect for you. Where you go, hey, here's a spa, here were their numbers before, here's what we did, just show them. And then they did a call. Now, what I found interesting about what you're doing is I'm not necessarily against it, but running those 3-day challenges is way more work. It's an extreme amount of work. I don't really know why you would want to do that unless it works way better, because if you could just get people to a call after a case study and just sell them from that, that would be better. Now, you can make the argument, hey, the 3-day thing builds more trust. Sure. So if that is really that much better, great. But I'll tell you, this model is way easier to scale because all you're doing is pushing the sales calls and you're just taking sales calls, right? You don't have to do any like opt-in pages and this 15-minute booking call you had and taking these little payments and then book another call. It's more work. Now, if it works super well, it doesn't really matter. End of the day, money is money, winning is winning. But that's the first thing that did, which I think makes it easy because look how simple that is.
Yeah.
It's as simple as it gets.
And that's what I was leaning into at first, but like trust was a big thing because there's every other marketing agency and their dad that has those big promises and all that.
But that's where I think this could come into play. At the very least, I would split test it. Why would I split test it? Because right now, what a lot of entrepreneurs never think about is like, oh yeah, this is great. I'm gonna do this forever. Dude, at $3 million a month, start looking at the amount of numbers. So you had 17 buyers, this many converted, and then at scale, your team would just have to get massive and all this type of stuff. So I'm not against it. It worked. But if you want to get to 3 million a month, for example, it gets more complex just by the sheer size of the company. So you want as simple a process as possible. One of the things I hate about my company, but it works really well, is we actually message every single lead. Works great. We get a ton of sales. You know what though? It's way harder to scale. In a perfect world, I'd love if I could just run a simple funnel. You know why? Because we just go, if you want to scale, you just turn up ad spend and everything stays the same, right?
Yeah.
Same numbers, same bookings, etc. So that's just something to think about. Now, do you do this immediately? No. If you want to do it, you split test it. You make the funnel, you run a little bit of ad spend here, you compare it against this. And what I would probably do is typically I'll do something for 3 months, like to really know, because if you just do it for a week or something, that's not enough. But if you tested it for, let's say 3 months and you said, hey, I'm going to spend 4,000 here or whatever it is, or you did 2,000 here and 2,000 here and you kept it even, you really just saw, that's how you would know for sure. You don't have to take my word for it, just test it. But the reason you would want to do this is in the long run, smaller team, more profit, easier to scale, etc. Now, if you end up going, hey, you know what? I just can't get the same amount of trust, then yeah, you got something that already works or you proved it worked, great. Now, once they had them on the call, it was super simple, right? So think about what the gym owners weren't doing. They didn't run ads. So they showed them how to run ads. You're doing the same thing, okay? Then they showed them how to do a 6-week challenge. So whatever it is you do for these spas, you're gonna want it to be whatever they can do to get the highest amount of cash up front possible. Why? So you could charge them a load of money. So what did was really smart is I don't know all the details, so I could be misquoting. But as far as I'm aware, conversations I've had with is more times than not, they let people in for hardly any money. That's a massive benefit because if you can take someone who has very little cash and then make them a lot of cash really quickly, obviously you make a massive business. You know what the downside in online businesses are? Unless they're super skilled like this guy, they don't usually make money quite as fast. So one of the biggest issues I've had in my companies is Jill comes in and she's like, well, I didn't make $100,000 in 30 days. And I'm like, Jill, I get it. How do you tell Jill she's a one in a nice way?
So my question, do you tell her she's missing the back end or she's missing like a piece of the business that really, like for you, right? Like when you got started, you were selling $100.
What I want my team to do, and obviously it becomes an issue sometimes because you have sales guys who want to make money and then you got the fulfillment team who just wants the best clients. And so you're constantly trying to like, guys, we got to be honest, but we also got to make sales. It's that kind of dichotomy. With what you're doing, I don't think you have to do anything. If you really want to scale to 3 million a month, you're going to have to make this stupid simple, which is what did. They brought in gym owners and they said, okay, we're going to run these types of ads. And they had all template ads. And the cool thing about what you're doing is that elite CEOs can't do my company is that you're working with the same avatar. Whenever you work with the same avatar, it's the same funnels, the same ads. Everything can just be the same, which makes it, again, easier to scale. Now, if tried to do what they do for everyone, they'd have more issues. So in hindsight, one of the things I wish I maybe hadn't done is expanded outside of trainers because I started in the fitness industry, right? I was like, this was the in-person guy, I was the online guy. The reason I did is that it's harder to get people results with online companies because again, it takes more skill. So someone will look at my best clients. You know what my best clients have in common? Sales backgrounds, crazy work ethic, whatever. You know what my worst clients have in common? Brand new, don't work hard, etc. I can't control that as much. We try, we can still help people, but the results do vary for sure. So what they did is they took the gym owners, gave them the ads. They gave them the same challenge. They showed them the whole thing, A to Z. So remember, had gyms, right? Okay, so you bring them in. You have your pictures here. It's this, you say this, you do this. Dumbs it down so the dumbest person on earth gets the same result. Why do software companies make so much money? Because any idiot can get the same result, right? That's what people don't understand. It's not about the software. It's because anyone can get the same result. So why did they sold like for 50 million and they still have like 30% equity. They're gonna sell it again and get more because they could get everyone the same result. Why? Well, they had Jill's, but if you think about it, none of the gyms ever ran ads. They're running ads to in-person, 90% close rate. So even Jill, who's not very smart, can close because it's in person. They want to be there. Then they did the 6-week challenge. Now, what I think you'll have to come up with is what's your unique angle for the spas? What they did is they brought them in and they said, hey, look, it's a free 6-week challenge. Here's how we do it. You go ahead and put down a deposit, $5.99 or whatever it was, and if you lose 20 pounds, you get the money back, right? And they would explain it in a way, I don't know exactly what they said or how they said it, but they explained it in a way where people were like, yeah, okay, great, I'm in. Now, this is my personal opinion. What I believe they did is they picked a number they knew they would never hit, right? So they come in, they're like, okay, in 6 weeks, you gotta lose 20 pounds, whatever. Now, most people know if you don't change how you eat, you're not going to lose weight, right? So they're working out, but they're still eating like shit. So 20 pounds in 6 weeks, for example, 99% of people aren't gonna hit it. So they get to the end of the 6 weeks, and what they do, or what they said, and as far as I'm aware, is that, okay, well look, like you didn't hit the goal, but don't worry, what we'll do is we'll take that $5.99 you spent, and we'll roll that into your membership. So let's say the membership was, I don't know, $100 a month. Well, now they're like, hey, you're gonna get 3 months up front for free, and then we'll just, you'll start at X amount a month. So why did that make such a big difference? Because they went from getting $60 a client to getting 600. So now they're getting $30,000 cash in 30 days. Well, now she's like, oh, well, you know how you only had to pay us a little bit? You can pay us $16,000 now, which is what they charged. So what do you think their success rate is? 90 something percent because they dumbed it down. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna dumb everything down. You're like, here's the ads you run, here's the funnels, here's the copy, everything, here's how they're gonna come in, here's what you say, you do the whole thing. So the dumbest person, the idiot, the least of these who has one IQ point can get the same result. And then what happened from there is, what do you think people do when you make this much money? Well, guess what had on the back end? Again, I don't know the amount, but I'm pretty sure at one point they had $120,000. I think it was like a 3-year program or something. Bro, all their clients who do this, what do you think? Oh, because they never seen 30 grand in their life. So then they all upgrade to this because they built massive trust. So this is where I want your head going. What's the difference in the online? So let me show you an online example. So just so I make this super clear, and then we'll move into any questions or like any specifics or like, and again, I can help you try to come up with the angle, whatever you want. But so think about elite CEOs, even online trainers. So we'll do both. So one of the issues with online trainers, so let's say I charge 16,000, like right away, the biggest issue is 2 things. One, level of skill. So remember we had those people here? It actually has the same thing, but what's the difference? In online, it's 30% close rate. Ooh, we just went down 60% in results. What's another thing? Well, they have to learn so many things. Running ads to in-person is super easy. It's like type in the zip code, do this targeting, and guess what? Because everyone's not competing, it's fine. Well, guess what? They have to learn how to run ads. They have to learn how to message. They have to learn how to close on the phone. A lot of these people are new, so they've never done it. These people at least have owned a business. So you have all these things stacked against you. What's the other issue? They don't make the money fast enough. It's slow. Why is it slow? Because it's dependent on them. With this type of model, turn on your ad, they'll walk in, blah, say what I tell you to say, you'll be rich. That's at least what you need to come up with. What's the thing that you can get them the highest cash flow possible? Because whatever you do in the beginning, if it works, dude, they'll keep paying you. So that's the issue with trainers. Now, the upside is what? They all do the same thing. So when I only worked with trainers, you know what the cool part was? Say this, do this. That was the great part. The hard part is the skill level comes into play more because they have way more things to learn. Most of them aren't business owners and the close rate's lower. So now thinking with elite CEOs, what's even harder? Well, now with elite CEOs, you got this person selling this and this person selling that and all over the place, right? Yeah. So what I'm just basically trying to point out and what I love about your model is you're selling, everyone's the same. You could give them the same funnels, the same templates, the same ads, the same challenge or front end. And so all I would really be thinking about if I'm you is what can I do on the front end that gets the absolute best results? And I only teach that. And I know that whatever I charge them, they're gonna make back money so fast, or the goal is they make it back so fast that you just build massive amount of trust and goodwill. And then on the back end, you can upsell whatever the you want. People will pay you more money as long as you make money. I mean, I've seen my program all the time. Who do you think upgrades with us? The clients who make money or don't? It sounds like a trick question, but it's obvious. So for you, what I would be thinking about if I'm you is split test this funnel here against what you're already doing. What can you do on the front end that will get them all the same result? So is it a free coupon? Is it maybe a guy like me, you bring him in, you say, hey, we'll give you a free facial. And then at the end, you're like, hey, if you buy a year up front, instead of 2,000, it's 15, whatever, I don't know. But that's where your head has to be thinking, because if they're gonna come in and pay you 25 grand or whatever they're gonna pay you, it doesn't necessarily have to be extremely fast, but the faster they make it back, the better, because then you can sell them more stuff sooner. Yeah. Right? So was notorious for getting people 30 grand in 30 days. And so when they charge 16,000 bucks, people are like, I don't have 16 grand. They're like, no worries, just pay us after you make 30 grand. But they could actually keep the promise. In elite CEOs, I can't promise they're gonna make 30 grand in 30 days because why? There's too many variables. I literally will say, hey, you could make 30 grand in 30 days. I've had clients who've done 100 grand in the first 30 days. But are you gonna do the work? Are you skilled? What do you think everyone says? Oh yeah, I'm the best, I'm super skilled. Because no one's gonna say they're not, but the reality is they're not. Here, it doesn't matter if they're good because it's so easy. Because they're coming in person, you're gonna give them the same results, the same thing every time. That will do is it'll make it easier on you, less staff, less fulfillment, etc. All you're gonna need at that point, and probably what you're gonna start needing now, is you need to hire a coach or a fulfillment person to come in and handle the fulfillment. So you can keep focusing on the sales and the marketing, driving people through. But if they're all doing the same thing, how easy do you think it'll be to hire and train someone? The same thing every single time for every single person. You know what's hard in my company? My coaches and my fulfillment team have to be better. Why? Because everyone has a little bit of a different business. Everyone has a little bit of a different issue. So it creates more complexity, which makes it harder to scale, which is one of the things I do not like.
Yeah. So where do you even start with that?
With
Like
what?
where do you start with your coaches where you're like, there's gonna be a lot of nuances? How do you prep them to prepare for something like that?
I mean, the first thing is you have to hire people who've had experience typically, meaning have they owned a business before? Have they worked with these types of clients, etc. The good news about what you're doing is, again, if you could keep it this simple, you could basically take a moron and get them to get it to work, which is a massive benefit. So again, what I'm trying to point out for you, and we can take the combo wherever you like, is where your headspace should go, in my opinion, is you split test this versus the challenge. Why? Because at scale, this is easier than the challenge. It's not bad. You can work with the challenge, but at scale, this will be easier.
Wouldn't that need more setters and closers though?
Yeah, but I mean, this is going to need a load of fulfillment, won't it? Or you're going to have to run this yourself. So unless you want to do that forever as well, it's up to you. I mean, yes, this would need more setters and closers, but to be frank, I mean, I guess I hear you. Like, if you want to do this yourself, but you'll be stuck. Like, you'll have to do it forever, or you'll have to train someone how to do it. And I'm just saying, there's more complexity. There's more variables. Meaning, I don't like stuff like that. I don't like stuff where, hey, they come in, they buy, then they gotta get on a call, they have to show up, they walk for 3. Because as you scale, you're gonna start seeing discrepancies, or people will drop off, etc. Again, I'm not against it. If it works better, it works better. I'm just saying split test it.
Yeah.
I would at least test it, because at scale, if you just spend more and then you have more people call and more people take sales, I think that's easier, but they can both work. So split test it. That's just a thought. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is, what can you do here? Like, all the templates, that should be straightforward. Here's your funnel, here's your ads, here's the copy, here's what you do. Just take all the guesswork out from them. You don't need to do it for them.
Yeah.
Just do it all up front, right? Remember, dude, they're not competing with each other. These are all different areas.
Yeah.
And then what you're really gonna have to put your headspace into, and we can spend our time here thinking about it if you'd like, but it's really, what is this? What is this thing? And that's what really perfected, because when he just said, this $60 doesn't work. Why? They gotta pay. So let's say is charging 16 grand, okay? Then they're selling a $60 membership. Then they have to run ads. They're 20, 25 G's in the hole. How much do they make up front? 5,000? That doesn't work. Yeah. The numbers don't make any sense. So why does online high ticket work? Well, I could charge someone 16,000. Now, not everyone gets the same result, but if they're selling a $5,000 program, it's like, hey, I mean, if you sell 3 in a month, you made all your money back. That's reasonable. Not everyone will do it, I should say, or can do it. But that's the benefit you have here, is if you just spell this out for them, it's super easy. This is way easier to do than that, for sure, which is great. You want businesses like that. But you need to think about this is, what's the best front end? Now, if you don't know, guess what you get to do right now in your business? Test it. So that shit you were doing for 25 grand, right now it's okay, because you could customize what you think's best for them, and then you see what works the best. And as you see that, you roll that out to more clients. And then once you finally narrow down, hey, this is the best thing, you roll it out to the whole program. So you're in a good spot right now, because you made money, it worked, you had 100% sure. There's a lot of positives here. But this is how you're gonna scale, because think about it, if your company gets an influx of 100 customers and they have the same funnel, the same templates, the same ads, the same strategy, bro, your fulfillment team, it'll be a joke, because they're gonna get the same questions, and guess you can literally list out the same answers. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. And I guess, like, for context for where I'm at is, like, the front end, I have that, right? And so I have that, but it's not like the machine is the back end. The machine is the membership that they enroll into. And the hard part with that is the front end is defined with a very specific treatment that pretty much all med spas have. Okay. But aside from that one treatment, it's hard to find. If you have 10 med spas, they're most likely all going to have different treatments outside of the one. So like Botox is a common one, but everything else, they might have sporadic treatments. They might have.
All right, so let's just talk about it. I mean, what do they do now? So they run an ad, and then what do they sell? So let's say I run an ad, and the ad's about what?
The ad is to get a free Botox treatment.
Okay, so free Botox. Get your wrinkles out for free. So they come into the office, and then what?
As they're booking the free treatment, the upsell is in the form there, so that way the practice owner doesn't have to know how to sell. So the upsell is basically add extra areas and get a discount. And that's where
What do you mean extra areas? Like,
so Botox you can get on your forehead, in between the eye,
so
like multiple locations.
Okay, so like the free Botox is like one spot?
Yeah, it's one area. And then the other thing is, like, 80% of patients that are coming in because they've been thinking about it for months.
Right, so how many people buy the upsell? Like percentage-wise, 50%, 40, 30, 60, 80?
It's probably 40% are coming in knowing and willing to buy the upsell.
Well, do they buy it before? I thought that's what you said.
They do, right? So they select it, and we pre-qualify and tell them that they have to take it.
But they don't actually buy it till they come to the office.
They don't actually pay till they come to the office, yeah.
So why even bother doing that?
Because it sets their expectation. What we did in the past was we did the free Botox, they came in, and then we tried to upsell. And they were like, oh, this is misleading. I thought I was coming in for this. You guys are so-and-so. And so we put all all the expectations on the front.
Got it.
And they select what areas they want. We let them know that they need a minimum of 2 areas, and the promotion typically covers 1.
Oh, gotcha. So you guys are making money regardless.
Yeah, exactly, which is why it's profitable, which is why it takes care of itself. But they're profiting like 40.
So the 60% who don't choose to buy something, they just don't come in, or what?
No, so we try to qualify them on the phone afterwards. So they're booking a call to qualify on the phone, and then we find a time for in-person process of
So the
deposit.
upsell, what does it cost?
On average, we bring in $187, and the profit on that is about 29%. They make around 40 to 50 bucks profit.
Yes, 29% profit. Okay, and then so they come in the office, blah blah blah, and then you try to upsell a package, right? Okay, and then what's the package?
So can I write?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So they come in, we offer them the package, right? And the package is the upsell. And so this is more of like a decoy. Some people will take the package, which is fine, but the overall goal is a treatment plan or a membership.
Okay.
Right?
You gotta explain the difference for me though. What's the difference between the package or the membership?
So the package we'll frame as $600, and then the membership we come in and say, you know what? Don't get 3 extra treatments of Botox.
Got
get
it. So
the
the
3.
package is like just more of what they already got.
It's more of the same, and
Okay.
this is like a full solution for them, right? It's
Okay.
Botox plus facials plus peels.
Got it. So it's just like being an overall lord.
Exactly.
Okay.
And instead of paying $600 today, you pay $180 a month.
Okay.
They
Which
enroll
is how
in
much a year?
$1,900.
Okay, do you do any year upfront discount? So it's like, hey, if you pay upfront $1,600 for the year?
Yeah. So it comes down to 180. Basically, the pitch is it starts at 240 instead of paying 600, 240, and then if you buy today, it goes down to 180. The other thing is it's a trial, right? So
Well, no, so I know they buy today, but I'm talking, 180 for a year is what? It's like 2 G's, right?
Yeah.
So do you do anything where you say, hey, if you pay up front, all of it,
oh, yes.
do you do that?
Yeah. So we are offering vacation incentives, marketing boosts. Have you heard of them?
No, what's that?
Basically, they contract with travel agencies and hotels, and they'll give you, any of your customers, a free vacation anywhere across the world, 4 days, 5 nights.
What do they get in return?
They are filling seats for hotels, and
But then they're trying to sell shit at the hotel, right?
yeah.
But it
well,
doesn't, I guess
not
it
time
doesn't
or
matter.
anything big, but like the hotel wants people there because they're gonna have 20%, 10-20% empty rooms, so they figured
Oh, so they just give it a...
they just give it away so they can.
I guess it doesn't matter, but I guess I'm just curious, why are they partnering with the spas? Like, why do they care about the spa customers? Because they have money? They just
No,
say they'll
so
spend more?
the marketing boost that gives away the vacation incentives is basically a B2B thing.
When you say marketing boost, is that you guys giving it away?
No, that's the name of the company that is partnered with travel agencies. So
Right, but I'm trying to understand your spa upsell. So again,
Yeah.
they come in the office, it's like, yeah, hey, thanks for coming, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's $200. Okay, go back with Betty. They come back, how'd you like it? Awesome, great. So from here, and then they're like, you could do the package, or you could do this, which is probably how they frame it, right? It's like, hey, you could do this, but what I really recommend is this.
Yeah.
And that's the membership, right? So what I'm just trying to understand is, as they're selling the membership, is the pitch like, and if you pay up front, you actually will get some free vacations? I'm just trying to understand how you pitch it.
Yeah. The pitch up front is to get free vacations. That's something we just introduced.
But what about
to
just,
try.
why don't you just discount it though? Have you tried that? Like where you get a little bit of a discount for paying, like, so for example, softwares, if it's $97 a month, sometimes what they'll do is, hey, if you pay up front, instead of paying $2,400, it's $2,000, right? And the goal is so you get more cash up front to spend it, right?
Yeah.
Have you guys tried that?
No. So that's
That's what
something
okay. The only reason I bring that up is that would make it way better. The reason being is if you're charging 25 stacks up front and then they're getting these people in their office and they're able to sell X amount on it. Let's say they get 2,000, 1,500 up front. That's going to be better because you want them to make as much up front as humanly possible. And the reason for that as well is what? They can dump it into more ads to get more customers. That's just a thought because the 180 a month is not a lot. I mean, that's very little.
Yeah, no, it's not a lot, but it gives them that consistency, the predictability. They're like 80%
No, I mean,
margins on
I'm
the
not
membership.
against it. I'm not against it. But if I was a spa and if I just paid you 25 grand and I'm running ads, I want to get a few of those customers to pay up front. Why? Liquidate the ad spend, liquidate some of the cost. If everyone's, I don't know. I mean, unless they're getting a load of customers, like if they're getting a load, it won't matter, but they'd have to get a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
and it's structured that way. Like it's structured for volume, right? Like they can be at full capacity, 5 to 7 patients a day every day, starting on day 1, right?
Okay.
And so it's structured for volume, and the nuance to this right here is it's extremely hard to sell anybody on a membership for a medical spa on the first visit, right? And so on average, it takes 3 visits for them to stay and consider themselves a lifetime customer. So
so how many people buy the package and how many people buy the membership?
So
out of the people who come in the office, right?
yeah, so 30% buy the membership, and the package is just a decoy. Nobody is.
No one gets it.
Yeah, nobody's incentivized.
Do you guys even pitch it, or do
We
you
do.
just...
So we pitch it as like a price anchor, and then we explain the package.
Like, so yeah, you could get 600, or you could do, and then you price drop.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Okay.
And so the nuance with this is we pitch a trial for the membership. The membership's at a discount, but the trial is basically gets them in the office 3 times over the course
What's
of
the
the
trial?
next. It's basically
Like 30
2
days or
months.
something? And then they could cancel if they want, type deal.
And then they can cancel if they
But
want.
if they stay, then it's for a year.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And so 30% are taking the trial. So far, 100%, we'll say 90% are sticking with the year.
So
and so basically, the 2,000 pay in full can happen at the 2-month mark, and that's more realistic for.
So you upsell it from there.
Yeah.
Because you push them in. Okay. So then I think the question becomes, how can you up the percentage who take the trial? Because it's only 30%. So can you get that number to go up? It all comes down to numbers and metrics though too. So here's what I'm trying to understand. If I pay you 25 grand and I start running the ads the way you're telling me, how long will it take me to recoup 25 grand? Like a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months? How long?
In profit at full capacity, probably a month and a half.
Really, to recoup it?
Yeah. That's at full capacity. And so some of these people,
they're not going to get there.
They're not.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can get that number, like what was great about is they basically would help them make, 50% more than what they paid in 30 days, right? So if it's taking you a month and a half, the downside is what? You don't really have any upsell. Now, I mean, you don't have to upsell them in a month. I mean, you could upsell them, let's say in 4 months, right? And you could upsell something else. Yeah. But if you really want to scale the company, you're going to have a back end program. And that's why I would just focus on, and we could brainstorm if you'd like, but that's why I'm saying, hey, can you get them to pay up front? Because you need them to. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, if you can't, it's not bad per se, but it's going to take them longer to recoup the investment, which means they're going to be less likely to pay you more sooner. Yeah, right.
Most of these practices, they have like 80% of their books empty, right? And they can step in, fill it up within the day they get started, right? It costs them $23 to get an appointment.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't, then maybe the play is you just charge a little less. So because so right now, 25,000 makes sense because you're doing everything. But instead, maybe what you do is you charge 12 or 14 or 16, but you don't do it for them. And remember, when I say don't do it for them, you can give them all the templates, but it's like you set it up.
Yeah.
Like you click the button.
And that's why the group thing came into play. And the really the focus is the group thing to make that as big as possible. And the 25K was really just to recoup any costs and help front load my process, right? Because the group thing it's structured where
even the group's too cheap. I think you need to have one-to-one component. One-to-one just meaning they have someone they can reach out to and ask questions directly. So
even in a group setting?
Well, so in Elite CEOs, we have Slack. They'll have a one-to-one communication with the coach. We also have pods. Okay, so pods is a smaller group of let's say 8 people, and then they have the Facebook group. And then we also do live events. I don't think you should only do group because you're not making as much money. You said it was $1,200 a month. I mean, that's pretty cheap, bro. $1,200 a month is pretty cheap. I think what you should do is you do a done with you model. You lower the price slightly. You don't have to do it right now. But instead of spending 25 grand and you do everything, it's better if you charge 15 or 16. And the other thing is that you just have to see the result. If they spend 16,000, how fast can they make that back? That's what you need to look at. The faster they get to that number, the more trust they're going to build, the more likely they're going to buy something on the back end. The thing you need to be thinking about is once they buy this, what can you do for them on the back end? What's something else you can do or something new?
That makes sense, yeah. So the group, 2 new patients a week covers the cost for it. And they can see 25. Right, so 2 new patients a week, they're profitable on those 2 patients.
No, I get it. It just doesn't really make sense for you, though. I mean,
well, I think I'm agreeing with the price.
You're gonna have to get a million clients. You have to get a million clients, and the thing is too with group is it's not great support either. Usually, what I've seen is you're gonna want something in the middle where they have some one-to-one, and bro, the goal is you want to charge as much money as you can because that makes it easier for you to scale, hire talent, build a team, spend more on ads, etc. $1,200 a week as you scale, that's not gonna pay for shit. I mean, that's not gonna pay for anything. So I'm not against it right now. Again, I'm not against it right now because it's just you. I'm just thinking at scale, what I would do is at scale, you have some number. You need to track what the client's results are. But what I would track is how much can they make on average in 30 days. And if the number is, let's say 10 grand, then you would charge 20 grand. If the number is 8 grand, then you would charge 16 grand. Give or take. That's kind of what I would charge in a perfect world.
Is that a good way to look at it?
Yeah, because they recoup the investment plus they make a little bit. And then at that point, you could even upsell something else. All I'm saying is that's a great way to think of it, is how fast can you help them make that cash back and then have something on the back end you can upsell. But for example, if they can make that amount of money back in 4 months, and you know for a fact at the end of 4 months, they're probably going to be willing to pay you more money. It's just the goal should be how fast can you make their return, right? Because the quicker you get people results, the more trust they build, the more they're gonna refer people, then they can bring in more spas. You can have a program where you give them 10% of everyone they refer. If you can get referrals, your business will blow up because you have no marketing cost. So that's at least where my head is. I don't know what that number is because you would have to tell me on average how much they make in 30 days. And then I could give you that number. But instead of doing this group bullshit and this customized stuff, if you have one program, it's easier to sell. You sell the same thing. You have one back end program and you just push that for a while. I don't think you need anything else. It's a good offer.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. So you're saying I should dissolve the one-to-one and up the group into a more personalized but done with you.
Well, yeah, so think of it this way. When someone comes in elite COs, here's what they get. They get a one-to-one coach, okay? So what that means is they can talk to the coach anytime. Something else you could do is a pod. Now, I don't think you need to do it for this, but I just want to give you context. So we'll also do pods, and pods will be, let's say, 8 people. Okay, so a pod is kind of a way where there's more people in there to ask questions and talk, but it's still pretty small and tight. And the benefit is that you're trying to use the other people and their questions to coach the others. So you're not asking the same stuff over and over. Does that kind of make sense?
It's 8 people of members of Elite CEO, not the coaches, but 8 people.
Yeah, 8 clients. 8 clients. Now you don't I don't think you would need to do that for this, but I'm just telling you. So they have the one-to-one coach, then they have the group, and then they have the portal and templates, and then you do live events, right? And you don't, I would not start doing live events till you have a team, obviously. So all I'm saying is if you charge, anywhere between, I don't know what the number would be, but anywhere between 8,000 to 16,000 or 20,000, whatever, is they'd come in, they get the coach. So even if you're the coach right now, you put them in Slack, you could have Zoom calls as needed, etc. You'd have the portal, and then you'd have the Facebook group where you do the group calls. And that's what I would do. I'd do those 3 things. I wouldn't do the done for you stuff because you're adding all this extra work for no reason, because they're all spas. They can all run the same offer. And then the group stuff is just not worth your time. It's like, to me, if they can't spend more money, it's not worth your time. Because what's going to happen is those group members, I bet you they're going to suck you dry, and they're barely paying any money. They're paying $300 a week. I think you're better off you have one price. Again, I don't know what this is. You're going to have to kind of monitor it, but that'll kind of tell you what you can charge. And again, you can also look at how long the program is. I mean, for example, even in elite COs, if we charge $16,000 for 4 months and they make more than $16,000 in 4 months, they're going to upgrade and spend more money.
What's the Ascension back end for you?
Well, so for elite COs, it's doing higher level stuff. So they'll go from, let's say someone comes in and it's, hey, here's how to make your first 10K. You're focusing on messaging, sales, stuff like that. The upsell is going to be, all right, now we're going to do ads and building your team and stuff like that. So it's more of the same thing or higher level stuff. For what you're doing, I'm not sure per se, because I don't know medical spas that well, but it's going to be what else can you do to show them? So maybe the upsell is you show them different plays. So maybe when they come in, they all run the 6-week challenge, right? Your version of that. And then the upsell is, all right, we got 3 different other plays you can run. So instead of free Botox, it's this and this. Information becomes very useless once people get it. So if you want to continue to ascend and keep people on, you got to have something on the back end. So maybe what you could do is you enroll them into done for you ads. So the cool thing is when you're running all the same type of ads for the same type of companies, you could have one media buyer handle 20 to 25 accounts. So maybe that's what you do is you say, hey, now that you're off to the races, we can take over some of this for you for a monthly fee, and you move them into an agency model. All I would worry about right now is you test that funnel on the front end. You need to track what your clients make in your program. So how long is your program right now?
It's 3 months.
Okay, so you see at the end of 3 months, you need to poll them and stuff. How much did you make? And then I would just go with one price and go from there. And then start coming up with a back end offer. The biggest thing is I would optimize this front end offer. I wouldn't do the group. I just would say, look, you're gonna make a ton of money, and if they make money, they'll buy, bro. I mean, you're just like, look, on average, my clients, make $30,000 in 3 months. I don't know, whatever the number is. So if you're able to show that, it's very easy to go. So it's 16,000, but every client I get, they usually on average will make 40 G's. So That's it. Simple.
How are you framing yours? Because you have one-on-one coach, but then you also have like group calls from like the Facebook group.
I mean, we're just saying, yeah, so the way it will work, you have a one-on-one coach, you'll also be in a pod, so there'll be 7 other people in that pod with you, so it's kind of like a small group. You have the portal, the Facebook group, the live events, etc. I just think all you would say is, yeah, so you're gonna come in, I'll be your one-on-one coach, I'll be slacking with you or whatever, we'll have Zoom calls as needed. You can even have scheduled Zoom calls. Then you'll have the group, and you'll do group trainings in there. And then you'll have the portal with like the templates and the ads and all those types of things.
That makes a lot of sense.
I just think you need to focus on what's going to make the most money. And so if you had a gun to your head, the group for $1,200 a month, who cares, bro? The people who are going to spend the $25,000 type money, that's where you need to focus. And again, maybe you could charge $25,000 for done with you. The done for you, you don't need to do it for them. Unless when you could do it for them is, again, if you go through and you have the same ads, the same templates, the same funnels. So then your fulfillment coaches go in, they click a couple buttons, and it's like, all right, here you go. What's funny is they'll go, oh, wow, this is amazing. But it literally came from a template. So that would be the only done for you if you wanted to do that. Otherwise, they can take their in the portal and click some buttons. So there's a lot of pros to this offer. The thing that I would focus on for you is like, you need to get them as much cash collected up front. Because the more cash they collect up front, guess what happens with you? Because that's an easy sell, right? Hey, my clients make $100,000 in 90 days. It's 40 grand. But, and what would be cool is if everyone gets this result, guess what you can do? Well, I'm broke. Oh, it's cool. Just pay as you go. No worries. And you know they're going to make it. In elite COs, you know why we can't do that? Because I don't know if they're going to do the work. That's the downside. So like, dude, there's all upside for you. I mean, there's so many pros to this. It's ridiculous. It's just you getting a little bit creative. So again, if I was giving you to-do actions, and then, you know, we'll go into whatever you want to go into, I would split test that funnel and just see if it works better. If it doesn't, stick with the challenge. Great. Awesome. Figure out how you can get the most cash up front for the spas. Why? Because the more you get up front directly correlates to how much money you're gonna make, and then come up with a back end offer. But it's all one thing at a time. Don't like stress. You don't have to have a back end offer right now. Maybe you wait, and as the clients finish the program, you say, hey, so for now, I don't have anything else. I can just enroll you into a group fee, so you can stay here if you have any questions, and then that would just be, you know, for the time being until you have something better on the back end.
I think I'm shooting myself in the foot by having the two. And
you are.
To your point,
but it's okay because you're still in the beginning phases. It's okay right now, but I'm telling you, as you scale, if you triple that amount of money, yeah, you'll hate your life. And it's not necessary. The goal is scale. How can I scale? If you're doing 25,000, but it's all one-to-one, meaning you're customizing the whole thing, that won't scale, right? It's the easiest to sell, but it's the hardest to fulfill. Group, easy to fulfill, hard to keep retention typically because it's not very good. And again, I don't know how your group works specifically, but it sounds like they're in a group and that's pretty much it, right? It's just like ask questions, stuff like that. That's all.
Well, it's like one call a week that's live with me. They can ask questions and we basically
so it's okay. It's like, you know, but instead, if you just sold the done with you version and you got they get the one-to-one coaching, but it wasn't done for you, or at least if you were going to do it done for you is all the templates, so you just click some buttons for them and set it up. That to me is more appealing and it's your only option, right? Now, if you want to have the downsell be the group, meaning they don't have cash, that's fine. But remember, like end of the day, what people forget is if you want to make a lot of money, you just have to help people make a lot of money. So as your clients are going through this and they're doing this offer, if they're making and you're tracking it, if they're recouping their investment in, you know, you said 45 days, that would mean, so let's say they double their investment in 90 days, that's 3 months. Then it's so easy for you to go, look, in 90 days, all the clients make 30 grand. So this program is 15,000. All you got to do is pay as you go. That's it. And then, so what's 15,000 weekly? You're like, you just pay 1,000 a week or whatever that number is. If you set this up in a way where they can't fail and it's foolproof, you can charge whatever you want based on how much they make. So that's why if I'm you, I focus all my time and effort and energy on getting them to get as much cash collected up front so you can charge a load and get the money back faster. The faster they make money, the faster you get paid. That's just how it will work.
Well, I'm definitely cutting myself short. That's for sure at the $1,200 a month.
Yeah, but I mean, you're just starting. You're not having to do anything. Again, I'm not against it. It's just that you're not going to scale with that. That's not how you're going to scale. The way you're going to scale is you get a done with you offer and you're going to sell it. I don't know what the number is going to be, but it's going to be anywhere between like, let's say 8 and 20K. It depends on how much they make. So what I would recommend typically is whatever they're going to make in 90 days, you would sell it for half of that. If you want to really scale, because everyone who comes in goes, yeah, man, it's super straightforward. You spend 16,000, you'll make 30 grand in 30 days, whatever. And And then it also allows you to upsell after. That's like give or take what I would suggest. Do you have questions or anything you want to brainstorm on or go into?
I think the one thing like I'm getting held up on is the done with you. Like in my mind, it looks like it's still one-to-one, but it's also like it's a mixture of one-to-one and group.
But like,
and so like, what's the structure of?
Again, like when you say done for you, from what I understood is you set up the ads, you write the copy, you set up the landing page, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so done with you is you give them all the templates, but they set it up, right? So that takes all that work from you, moves it to them. So you're correct. It's the same except you're not doing it, they're doing it. But that makes it what? More scalable.
Yeah. But then the one-on-one coach would also.
Yeah, but that's just them. That's just them messaging you and like calls here and there. But dude, again, guess what you do with when you make 60 grand a month? What do? Hey, who wants to be my coach? Hey, it's 5,000 a month. Offload it. Let them do it.
Yeah.
Done. It's easy. The thing you have to focus on is just how good is this and can all the clients get the same results? And if they can, you'll sell it like hotcakes, bro, because it's easy. The more confident you are in your result, the easier it will be to sell because you won't care if they pay up front or pay weekly or whatever because you know it's going to get the result. What do you think that number would be in 90 days? And what's their margins?
They're at like 40% margin.
Okay, so what do you think someone would actually make in 90 days with this system? And they did it over and over and over again the whole time.
6 people a day, 5 days a week, 4 days a month, or 4 weeks a month, 360 new patients, and they make about $40 profit per patient, about 15,000.
Yeah, so they make 15,000 profit.
Yeah.
So probably give or take, what you'd want to charge is maybe you charge 10 grand or 12 grand, somewhere in that range, and they make a little bit of profit, and then you can upsell them, right? I mean, that's probably what I'd recommend.
Okay.
And now that's a lot less than 25,000, but it's way more scalable, bro. Now, if the one-to-one is really easy, if that 25,000 is really easy, then you could just bring in a coach and it's fine. Like it doesn't really matter. It's just usually what I see with one-to-one is you're gonna have twice as much labor versus if you just did this, right? The other thing is what you just said is if they're making $15,000 of profit and they just paid you $25,000, that's going to become an issue, I think, because they're going to go, okay, yeah, I made money, but they actually lost money, right? Like, what? I guess what's your thought process on charging $25,000?
The $25,000 is because I have a lot more confidence in the member side, right? So what I just told you is just the front end. That's like fully templatized, guaranteed results. Everybody's going to average around the same. What really gives them a big boost on those margins is how they structure and sell the membership.
Well, so is 15,000 the number or not? Like I'm talking total. Like what are they gonna make? Is it 15,000 or not?
No, it's a lot more than 15.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what matters.
But I can't templatize the membership. Is the only problem.
Why?
Because there's so many nuances with the services.
I mean, can you show people how to do it?
I can show them the framework for sure.
Right.
And like the principles behind it. Yeah.
Okay. Could you show it well enough where you think everyone could be able to implement it and get some type of result?
Some type, yeah, but not 30% maybe. I don't know. I haven't.
Yeah, I mean that's just all you have to test though. But my point is, again, like, do you see how that would make your life easier? If you just show people a strategy versus you go do it for them, that's more scalable, correct? Yeah. All I'm saying is the way you scale in service is you try as much as possible to do done with you, not done for you. Done for you is a lot harder to scale unless maybe it's just their ads. I'm just trying to give you ideas, but at the end of the day, the point I'm trying to make is done with you is more scalable than done for you. The price point you can charge is going to be dependent on how much they can make in 90 days. So that's it. If they make 30 grand of profit total, you could charge 16,000 or 15,000. Again, you can do the 25,000 type stuff, but it depends on how much labor it's going to take. But typically done with you is easier because it's less complexity at scale because you're not doing stuff for people, you're just consulting, you're just telling them versus doing it all.
That makes sense. And then like what I've noticed is everybody that I have partnered with in the past, when the end of the contract comes at the 3rd month or 4th month and I say like, you're on your own, you're welcome to go and you don't have to pay me anything else, they always want to stick and they want to keep paying and like they don't want to separate from
well, yeah, because they're dependent on you. So that's the upside, but the downside, again, you're gonna have to make that call where you can tell me the numbers. You don't have a lot of stuff yet because you just started. All I'm saying is this, for example, so we'll do done for you and done with you. So if the done for you is 25 grand and let's say one coach could handle 8 clients, okay? And let's say a coach is $5,000 a month. Okay, let's say the done with you charge 12,000, but a coach could handle 30 clients. You get what I'm saying? You would just do math and you go, okay, like, yeah, this is way more, but what happens with the margins and the complexity? Like you might have a lot more complaints with this because they expect a lot more versus this. You just have to test it. But from my experience at scale, if you have hundreds of clients, it's way easier when it's done with you because then it's like, hey, yeah, did you watch the portal? Did you click the video? Oh, you didn't? Here it is. You need some help? You get on a Zoom call, you help them with it. But you're not doing it for them. It's different.
Okay, that's
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
No, that's a good nuance because like my concern was like, do they have enough support if it's done with you versus done for you?
If you template it all out, you have to template it all out, bro.
Yeah.
So you would have a portal that's like, all right, guys, video 1. Here's the ads. Here's the ads you're gonna run. Here's what you say. Here's how you post it. All right, number 2. Here's your office. Here's what you say. Here's how you just have to show them the whole thing, A to Z. So when done with you, let's say you give them the ads and the funnels and whatever. If your done for you service is you're just clicking the buttons for them, so you go in and click a template and put it in for them like that, then you can sell done for you. Because you're not doing anything, basically. That's why, okay, if I'm an ad agency and I have 30 clients and they all sell different shit, that's way more work than if it's all spas. Why? Because you're doing the same thing. Does that make sense to you? I'm not trying to get you to overthink it. It just comes down to, is it easy to scale? So when you say done for you, the way I think is you're doing the whole thing for them. So I'm like, great. If all you're doing is clicking the button and you have the same funnels, the same copy, etc., then you probably are fine to do that. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I just want to point that out.
No, that's an important nuance to understand. The only thing I'm getting caught up on with myself is like the membership side, piecing that together. If I give them the template and the framework, right? Because they do have different services that can't be templated into the membership.
Well, that's really like that's also where the one-to-one coach can come in and help them. But again, like what would the coach do? Hey, so tell me about your offer. All right, so here's what I would do. Yeah. And then they help them with it, but they're like, you have to do it. Done for you is where you're coming up with the idea and you're telling them, like, that's just more work.
It is, yeah. Well, it's good. I think I just need to meet myself in the middle with the two different.
Yeah, but you'll also see as you test stuff. Like the thing too, bro, is you just can test. You don't have to, anything I'm saying right now, you don't have to take my word for it. Just try both. If you don't believe me, just try both and guess what will happen? You'll see. Yeah. And you'll know. From my personal experience, why don't people do more done for you? Because the overhead is astronomical, right? Because you have to have so many employees to fulfill it typically. Unless, what I said already, it's the same shit over and over. Then sure, maybe you can do done for you. But like, why does an agency who only works with roofers do better than an agency that works with every online coach? Dude, they're literally copy and paste. I've seen it. They'll have a guy who's on 25 accounts. They spend a couple bucks a day and the guy just goes in and just double checks that nothing's up. And it's the same funnels, the same ads. There's no creativity. How hard is it to just do this every day? But if you have different offers and different price points, etc., well, dude, that takes a lot more creativity.
Yeah, no, that's true. No, you're right. I got to take it one step at a time. It's good though. I mean, I'm testing.
But you're in a great spot. Yeah. I'm just trying to help you think ahead. So for now, your to-dos, in my opinion, is you have the challenge and then split test with the funnel, right? If I were you, I would just get rid of the group, or it could be your last ditch downsell. If you want to have it as like a downsell for a super broke person. But again, I don't think you should need to. I think if this offer is as good as it seems, you should be able to charge people a high ticket price. You bring them in, and then all you're deciding is, hey, is it going to be done for you or done with you? Again, but the only way it will work done for you at scale is if you already have it all templated out, and then your coaches just go in and click the buttons for them and do it. It has to be that simple.
No, I like that.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, 100%.
So how do you make your decision? How much can you charge and what is the labor cost? That's profit. That's literally how businesses work.
And then I guess like when I'm thinking about scaling and having a coach, what resources would I look into outside of like Fiverr and Upwork, or are those
like to find a coach?
Yeah, to find somebody or people that would be able to supplement that side of.
I mean, I always tell people like you could start with your like warm lists, like your email list or referrals. LinkedIn, Indeed, those are gonna be way better than Fiverr, Upwork. You're not gonna find employees there, at least ones that can interact with clients. If you're gonna have a coach who's gonna talk to clients, you don't want like someone on Fiverr from India or something.
Yeah. So, and that's the next question, which is like, what's the expectation in terms of pay for coach?
I mean, I usually say the minimum people should make full time is $5,000 a month. I mean, if you're paying less than that, they either live in a foreign country or they're lying to you. Okay. Like they have a part-time job. So I don't know what it would be, but it depends on how much skill. Based on what I'm seeing, if you template out the entire process, it won't take that much skill. And guess what? You could teach anyone. Like, bro, if it's the same thing for all the clients, how hard would it be to teach someone? Do you understand? Like your business, simple scales, fancy fails. This is simple. It's gonna be easy. It should be easy.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, man, that's great.
Yeah, so I don't think this is that hard, to be frank with you. I just think
I think I overcomplicated it.
You do. You have the challenge. My advice is keep doing that. But if I were you, I would split test. You don't have to, but I'm just saying, hey, if you want to scale, maybe this will be easier. If you do it, you're like, oh, dude, that. It's like way more complex. I have way less people sign up, etc. Stick with the challenge. Great. Okay. Next thing. Go build and template everything out. All this stuff should be built out. Like, I mean, it's very simple. Hey, how do I do the spa? Teach me. All right, so Tanner, first thing is we're gonna make your ads. Here's what the ads are gonna say. Here's the copy, here's the image, here's the videos, here's what you're gonna say on the videos. Dumb it down. Build the whole thing out. And then when you sell people, you're like, yeah, so it's literally all built out. All you have to do is click a button and you're gonna have a one-to-one coach and group calls.
Yeah, the bottleneck I saw with previous owners was like they were at a point where they are profitable and they can grow, and then they realize they're building an actual business and they have to be there 7 to 5 and they have to take phone calls and book the appointment.
Well, yeah, but then you would teach them. So what would be the next thing you teach them? How to hire, how to train people. Yeah. So maybe that's your upsell program. It's like, hey, so now that you have a real business, let's teach you how to hire and train people. And guess what? If you don't know, well, start learning right now. You don't have to know everything day one. You just got to be one step ahead of your clients. Like when I was starting my business, I didn't know everything. I just showed people what I did, and as I learned more, I showed them more.
Makes a lot of sense, man.
Again, I would just split test the funnel. And why would I do it now and then later? Because, dude, once you're at scale, you don't want to be split testing. I would figure this out now. 2 is build out the whole process. When I say build out, that means they should be able to watch your videos and your process and be able to do the whole thing and succeed. Okay, so you build that out, and then if I were you, you just pick one price, and then like if you're gonna do done for you, remember, done for you means you're just clicking the button for their funnels and their emails and you set that up, that's it. You're not writing new emails and all that stuff. Or you do the done with you, which is they'd watch these videos and it's like video 1, click this button, click. Video 2, click for your emails. And then they have the coaching in there. Yeah. And when I say coaching, it's just, hey, do you have any questions? You good? You're just communicating with them on a daily basis. And then maybe you have some Zoom calls here and there where they're struggling. But even that, when you're getting on and helping people with it, is different than doing it all for them. And for some reason, you're like, wow, dude, when we click it for them, they just love it. Okay, whatever. Then just look at the cost. Like if I had a coach here and he could handle 20 clients and this coach can only handle 5, yeah, we charge more here, but he can handle less clients, so it doesn't make as much sense. That's just a business financial decision. What you're doing is you're like, all right, cool, done for you. Customized copy, customized phone. Like, that. No, that's not gonna scale.
Yeah, to that point, like 80% of it's templated out except for the back end. But that was also like the big grabber for the workshop and like building that trust was like, I'm gonna give you the front end, I'm gonna give you the copy, the ads, the template for
I'm not like that. Bro, I mean, it's a great thing to do. I'm not against it. I'm just saying maybe split test it and see if that works better. If it doesn't, then do the challenge. The downside of the challenge is what? It's dependent on you, which if you're a business owner, guess what the goal is? You make money without doing shit.
How does that work though if I give everything away in the challenge?
What do you mean?
So like we go through the challenge, we build out the landing page, the ads, like everything for the front end. They get the scripts, they get the whole 9 yards.
Well, then what are they buying on the back end?
The back end, they're buying the support to go through it as they actually execute and have patients walking in, sales training as well.
Okay, so didn't you just answer your own question? So what's the problem?
Kind of, yeah, but for me, I feel like it's never enough. A part of me feels like
What do you mean it's never enough? What do you mean?
Because they have the system, right? Like they have the system.
Bro, they just paid you money. What do you mean? You just had 2 sales for 25 grand, right? Then doesn't that mean they want what you have to sell? That's how you know.
Yeah, but the pitch is I'm going to help you with the back end, the membership, and making sure that you're on track with everything. So like, it's leading
that doesn't have to be done for you. You realize it. Yeah. I'm on a sales call. Hey, so the whole reason you would do this is I'll help you with the back end. Okay. I'll like tell you what to say, how to say it. Obviously, you're going to do the work, but I'm going to be there to coach you through the process. Dude, I promise you, it doesn't make as big of a difference as you think it does. Like, I don't know what you're stressing about. Again, bro, test it. Sell it the way we're talking right now and see what happens. The only difference between this and this is, again, if you template it all out, then the only difference should be I click button for you, they click button for themselves. Done with you means you're the coach. You're like, cool, so like, let me help you work through this. So tell me about your business. Tell me about this. You help them build it out right there. And then you're like, if I come up with the concept, it's like, go implement. Done with you or done for you means you don't talk to them at all. You come up with the concept and you implement. So even if you had to come up with the concept either way, if they have to implement, don't you see how that's way easier? So you put it on them versus it's like always on you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does it though? Because you
it
look
makes-
like you're not.
no,
You
it
look
makes
like
a
you
lot
don't
of-
believe me. I don't know.
No,
You-
I do, because like everything that I've like put together for each one of those in my head were two completely separate things.
It's
I'm starting
not.
to see that it's
Bro,
it
it's
is
the
the
same
same. Yeah.
You're
yeah.
literally overthinking who clicks the button. Who gives a f?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know why you're so caught up on this done for you shit. Like you look so scared. You're like, oh my God, like if I don't do done for you, it doesn't matter.
Because I have confidence in myself delivering results.
For
which
sure.
is
But
why,
again,
like,
I'm just trying to get you to think for
hear you.
scale. So look,
I hear you.
look, if it's gonna take you the same amount of time, you make the same amount of money, then yeah, just do it for him. But if this is infinitely harder, then yeah, be like, all right, so watch the video. I'll help you with it if you struggle. Click some buttons. It's not that big a deal. Let's say we have a client who wants a funnel. Let's say they're all spa owners, what you said. Okay, so if I'm gonna funnel build for a spa owner, I should already have a template. Okay, do you use ClickFunnels to go high level?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I have a template, you realize that all we're talking about for done for you means Tanner clicks the button. So I go in, I go, and it downloads, right? Done for you means you're my client, you click the button. That's all we're discussing, because you have to have this either way. If you don't have this, you're a dipshit. That's stupid. That would make no sense. Why would you not build this out? You're like, oh, you know what? Let me make my job way harder. All these guys are spa owners. Let's build different funnels for all of them. Makes no sense. You're creating complexity in your business for no reason. I think from what I'm like gathering, you seem like you care a lot, which is great. And you want clients to get a good service. And for whatever reason, you've told yourself that done with you is way worse than done for you. And it's not. And you need to stop thinking that. It'll kill your growth, because you'll be the guy who's like, yeah, dude, like done for you. We click the buttons for him. And you're going to have all this extra overhead, and it's for what? If they have a one-to-one coach throughout, you realize that if they go click the button and go, oh, I don't know what to do. Get on a Zoom call, share their screen, and help them click right there on the call. But guess what? If only 20% of the people get stuck, that means 80% of the clients, you don't have to get on a call with them, which means what?
Yeah.
You scale more. This, you're doing all of it. It's 100%. That's why done with you works, because some clients have questions and some don't, which makes it more scalable.
That makes sense.
I don't think that's going to make any difference in client results or how clients feel about your program.
No, I mean, you explaining the support.
My
that's a
program
big
it
one.
would, but we can't scale that way. Why? Because they're all beginners. They're not business owners. But dude, honestly, when you have business owners and they ran a spa and you're walking them through some basic videos, they should be smart enough to do it. That's a benefit you have. It's way easier to work with current business owners. They've gone through hard shit before. They're not that soft.
No, man, I'm fully on board with you. I probably look confused because I'm like trying to.
Well, I just want to make sure you're not. I mean,
consolidate
if
everything.
that's just how you look, you're good. But
No,
some people
I'm
just
good,
look
man.
confused.
I'm definitely good, because I know I split everything up in the beginning.
But dude, you have a
to
great
your point,
offer.
it's-
Like if I had an offer like this, you know, it just seems insanely scalable, because all you have to do is the same thing for every client, which is the best type of business.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's why like garbage businesses and these boring businesses do well, because what do? Go pick up the trash, next person, pick up the trash, next person, pick up the trash. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah, I gotta make it dummy proof.
Yeah.
Which like it's 80% there, so it's
Yeah.
I am overthinking it. And so last thing, like pricing wise, good general rule of thumb is whatever.
That's a general rule. For elite CEOs, where we're at now is I also just look at margins. I look, okay, so for every client we have, you know, how much hard cost and how big is our team, and I just kind of look at what that number needs to be. The other thing is the way I teach sales is you can always price drop. So I'd rather say, hey, it's 30 grand, and then I can go through a price drop, which you can watch on YouTube. I have some price drop trains, or I can always go down. I just can't go up. But a good rule of thumb is I'm just going, look, if a customer pays you 16 grand, they're probably gonna want to make around double probably. You know, if they make 20 and it's like, dude, I paid you 16, I made 4 grand, it's probably not worth it, right? So I'm just thinking out loud, they probably want to make, you know, decent amount of profit. It's gotta be worth it. So that's why I say half is like a good rule, because if they made 30 grand and they spent 16, they're making about, you know, 4 grand a month. That works. It's a good deal.
And then what margins do you factor in for yourself with your staff and pricing for?
I mean, bro, until you're doing you should be 70+% margins until you're doing at least a couple hundred G's probably. I mean, you're doing 68,000 right now and you're by yourself. Because think about who are you gonna need to hire? You'll hire a coach, and then you can do all the sales for a little bit. And then once you get through that, you'll have probably a couple setters. So you can do a couple $100,000 a month with maybe 4 people. Coach, couple setters, sales guy. But I mean, in service-based businesses, you should have pretty high margins. 60% of your expense is marketing, usually.
That's good to know. That's the direction. That's the direction I need. That's pretty much where that's at.
You have any other questions? Or are you good?
I think I'm good, man.
Okay.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, you'll crush, dude.
I like everything leading up to this point.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been comfortable with, and then like building this together.
It's a great offer,
coaching
dude.
and agencies.
Yeah, it's a great offer. You'll crush. So just don't overthink it and start doing the work. And the thing too is, even if you're unsure, guess what? If you just test it and you'll see.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you advice based off my experience. Because you haven't been there, part of your brain is gonna go, I don't know if that's true, right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to give you, based off my experience, what I would recommend, because the whole point of you being here is what? To save time.
Yeah.
Because you can go try everything, or you could just listen to me and you'll probably save time. But it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, I'm already committed to the done for you and done with you, at least till these guys clear up. So like, I'll get that data, but I think as I'm building this together, everything I build should be on track for the done with you.
It'll be great,
And
bro.
I think I can put that
It'll
together.
be great. It's a great offer.
I came in with zero context and direction of what I was really building, and honestly, like walking out, I feel like I saved myself months of trial and error that I would have pursued if I hadn't. You don't know what you don't know, right? And a lot of times you'll find yourself running in circles, which is why like coming down here, making the trip, and really taking his perspective seriously is the difference is night and day. And I think I have 99% clarity of what the actual next step is to make things work. Restructuring the program that I have people in right now, they're kind of split into two, and combining them into a more efficient way is really what's going to help me with my time, as well as the clients with their results. Honestly, it was great because anybody can get advice from anywhere in a lot of different places, but when you get advice from the right person in the right time with the right context, it makes a world of a difference. And so I was coming for clarity, and I was coming for that direction. That direction is priceless, and that's exactly what I'm walking out with. I appreciate it, man. I love everything that you built, and it's invaluable compared to what else is out there. And so thanks to you and anybody else that's considering Tanner, working with Tanner, learning from Tanner. It's a no-brainer, right? Like, look at the person that's built what you want to build and follow in their footsteps. And so, yeah, man, I appreciate it.